Now the next person I'm going to introduce is Cheryl Scott. Cheryl is our top of the list candidate in the south of Scotland and was a tireless campaigner for the yes vote in the referendum. Cheryl has got many attributes, a very talented person who calls it as it is, I would say, and who helped to set up the camp at Hollywood, who was instrumental in the BBC demonstrations during the referendum, instrumental in starting that, who is always active, always busy, a socialist all the way through, and that's why she's with us, and she'll tell you more about that probably herself. So I'll just pass over to Cheryl.
It's a coming home for me, really, coming up. My dad was from here. I wasn't actually born here, but he was. So it's a pleasure to be here. How do you follow this thing? That is amazing. That's the talent we have in solidarity, and we don't hear about it in any of the press or on the TV. But Haley, 18, Manny Black, 8 year high. That's all I can say. This may in Scotland be a chance we've never had before. We have a chance to expel the London-based parties from Scotland's Parliament. Yeah. Perhaps forever. On September 19th, 2014, I did something I thought I would never ever do. I joined a political party. I joined the SNP. I thought I'd join the Solidarity, which is where my heart is. But I listened to the cry to be under one banner, and I joined. And when Tommy here was telling us all to support the SNP in the coming election in May, I thought it was the right thing to do. I left the SNP after we got 56 MPs through, which was an amazing result. But my heart wasn't in the SNP, it's a centrist party. I'm a socialist, always have been, and I approached Solidarity a few weeks later and asked if I could join. A few weeks later after that, these fine people asked me to stand. It took some time to think about it, but here I am. In many ways, I've had an extraordinary life, but politically, I'm not any different from any of you sitting here. I'm just a normal person. I'm not a smooth and trained politician. Do we want smooth, trained politician? We look around the world at the moment and see smooth, trained politicians. We see what's happening in America with their suits, and they're having to have 20 million in the bank just to even put their name forward. No. That's not Solidarity, it's not me, it's not us. I've no ulterior motive to be standing. I'm not hankering after a long political career. Scotland's independence is my goal, and it always has been. Everything we do in Scotland is almost to no avail. Because no matter what we decide, no matter what we change, it's always having to be ratified by a foreign government. And yes, I do see it as a foreign government. In a foreign land, and by a woman in a £1 million hat that no one voted for and no one has any choice in having her or her family rule over us. So, after saying that, what can we in Solidarity do in Hollywood to make a difference? Well, we in Solidarity have a very important role to play in our parliament. It's not about whether we can form a government. It's not about numbers per se. It's about representation. Representation of the yes voters who aren't SNP. It's about the representation of a different pro-indie voice. It's about putting real socialism and socialist policy back into mainstream politics in this country. How many here have put your faith in a party that a very great Scotsman founded in this very town? And how many of you have been let down by that very party? Cumnock Station is a socialist county. It's a place where community is important, where working hard isn't an option. It is bred into every single person. It's in your DNA. What else in your DNA is socialism, and fairness, It's a life where your neighbour matters as much as your family, where together we build something that transcends money. We build lives, we build community. You don't need me to tell you how all that's been ripped from your hands, how your jobs for life is something that happened to your parents or grandparents, how that community is not, it's just unundermined, it's been ripped apart. But here you are, still a community, still praying for a life that's better than it is now, hoping for a future for you and your families, even though that may seem as far away from realisation than at any time in the past. What do we offer you? What do I offer you? What does Solidarity offer you? That voting SNP twice doesn't. That voting for a unionist party doesn't. But one, we agree with the SNP that independent Scotland is the only future worth having. And by voting for that independence in the first ballot, we send the message that independence is what we want. Two, I think policies like free prescriptions for all was a very worldly socialist principle that gives us sick and disabled a sense of dignity and of course stops anyone missing any life-saving medicines due to cost. SNP for all that, it's good about them. They're a centrist party. They're a capitalist party. We are socialists. We believe that everyone should have the things in life that offer them dignity and pride in themselves. Things like housing. Everyone should have access to clean, warm and secure place to stay. We have a problem with homelessness where private landlords have brought up the housing stock and drive rents up to a place where either the people can't afford them or the benefit system is overloaded with paying for these high rents out of the public purse. What a very convenient setup for these people to get more benefit money than those that truly need it. We need water. It goes without saying, I hope, that water, clean and free at the point of use, is not just a necessity, it's a basic human right. To have a water industry put out to influence from the private sector is a disgrace. It leads to only one place, and those of us that lived through the Thatcher years, and I apologise for using that woman's name, can testify to. And that is where we will be with water meters in every home, and the price of your water creeping up year on year, so you have a situation the same as gas and electric, where you are voluntary cutting off of the supply through inability to pay for the ever-rising costs. Who in our parliament right now are speaking out for the ordinary people and what's happening in our water industry? The last people to do so are sitting right here. Rosemary and Tommy. You elect Solidarity to make sure that people have a voice and say no to the privatisation of our water industry. And that brings me to a point that Kayleigh spoke more in depth about, is that our energy costs. I brought some figures myself here. In Scotland at the moment, 845,000 households, not people, households, are in fuel poverty. That's 34.9% of our country is in fuel poverty. And fuel poverty means if your income, if 10% of your income goes on energy costs, you are officially in fuel poverty. Even more damning, 229,000 of them are in extreme fuel poverty. And that means your income, 20% of your income goes in fuel alone. To contrast in the UK as a whole, 17%. So Scotland's running it twice the fuel poverty of the UK as a whole. How can anyone in a country rich in fuel, not just fossil fuel, easy for you to say, but wind, wave, tidal, and even solar power, which is even one person unable to afford to heat their homes is beyond a disgrace. There is an argument that means Scotland can provide warm, comfortable homes for all our people if we were to have full control of our economy and use the oil money to develop renewable energy sources. In 2014, Scotland produced enough wind power to a level that was 117% of the domestic use in the country. In 2014, though, an unelected body in Westminster took away our control of our renewables, the House of Lords. Solidarity will again be a voice to speak against the open market policy and what is not a luxury but a lifeline service for all people. We in Scotland are a very rich country. You wouldn't know it, would you? There's no doubt we can build a society where no one is hungry, no one is cold, and not one person needs worry about having clean water. We're concerned greatly about our water and environment. Fracking and UCG are probably the biggest risk to those two things ever in Scotland. We have a situation where a moratorium is in place to supposedly stop any drilling, but the licences have been handed out, and test drilling was announced as being necessary to gather evidence, as if there isn't enough during the moratorium. Test drilling that has it as a requirement that the drilling rigs are constructed in such a way that the commercial production can and will follow on easily after the moratorium is lifted. I have a bit more to say, but I'm running out of time. With the SNP, they're sure to win nearly all, and I think all, the constituency votes. They cannot, even with the best will in the world, win many, if any at all, list seats. This is down purely to mathematics of the Dehon system. It's not my opinion, it's not anyone's opinion. Do the sums. If you need to see the workings, I can give you them. I urge everyone who wishes Scotland to be a free country to use both votes to send the strongest possible pro-independence message to the world by voting pro-independence, socialist solidarity, Scotland on your beach vote. We must use this opportunity to have a strong Scottish government, but equally a strong Scottish opposition. And may vote solidarity Scotland on the beach vote ballot, with the seed that needs planted, with the idea it needs to grow. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Cheryl. I told you we had a lot of talent here, a lot of talented women, and Cheryl is no exception to that. And take the message, the peach ballot, and pass that around all your friends.